You're unmuted.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Okay. I'd like to call to order the Budget and Finance Committee for the San Lorenzo Valley Water District, March 13th at 5:407. Yep. All right, Leah.
Bob Russ,
Here.
Brian Largent,
Here.
and Carl Larson,
Here.
and Nathan Schuster.
All right, thank you. All right. Any changes to the agenda?
No.
Sherry? No? Okay, I think we're all good. All right, any members of the public remote?
No, sir.
No, okay. So no oral communications, and I guess we'll launch right into the March financial update. All right.
So, yeah, this is the March update. As you can see, our revenue is performing pretty well. Our expense, we are down a little bit, and that's a good thing. Not really much to report there. Everything's on track and moving well. And then for our cash balances, we do have our total reserve amounts. And with that, our operating cash less reserve is at 2.8 right now. All of the information really is in the memo, so if you have any questions, I'm available.
Okay, thank you, Sherry. I'll start with just a couple quick questions. I saw that we had about 56,000 in meter sales. Why, what's that mean? Why the big uptick?
We are replacing a lot of the meters, so I'm assuming that's part of it, but
Okay,
I can look into it and get a better definite answer.
so maybe they're grant funded, because I know we're replacing about 400 meters or so.
Yeah,
right?
in Ben Lomond.
In Ben Lomond. You think that's what those might
I'm
be?
assuming so, but
Oh, okay, all right. Because it went from $5,000 to 56,000, so it was just kind of a noticeable tick. And then I'm assuming that the interest earned, which was almost oops. Turn that down. Okay, so sorry. Almost doubled. Is that because you really almost fully invested all the spare cash we've had, or what?
No, the general practice when budgeting for interest is to be very, very, very conservative. Because you never really know what you're gonna get and where the market's gonna go, if there's gonna be another pandemic, who knows what's gonna happen. So, interest is always budgeted very conservatively.
So like a 2% kind of number versus our 3.5 currently, or
I don't know what Heather did, unfortunately.
okay,
But what I would do is base it on the last like 5 years and just kind of see where we're at, because the interest, not only does it come from, the rates and everything, but it also comes from how much we have in our fund balance at the moment. So if we have a year where we have a lot of capital projects that we're funding, our interest is going to be lower because we don't have that much cash on hand.
gotcha.
So it really just depends.
Okay, all right. That's great. Appreciate that. And how much more of the fire recovery surcharge are we going to be receiving? Do you know that?
I believe 1.8.
Still to go?
Yeah,
Okay.
I have the number actually. Give me just 1 second, because I'm preparing that for the next board meeting.
Okay.
So I do have that number.
Okay. And that would be after the March financials. So is that what you're saying, the 1.8? Okay. So still after March, another 1.8. All right. And I guess you'll be getting into why the OpEx is so much more. I think you had it listed, the 433,000 at 99%. We basically spent our budget. And are you going to be going into a little more detail on why that was when we later, or you want to just launch into it?
We can do that now.
Okay, yeah, if you don't mind, sure.
Bear with me just 1 moment as
Okay.
I get the fire number. Okay, so that's as of 3/31, we are at 1.8. So.
So that's the current reserve?
Yeah,
Okay.
so it's at 1.8, yeah.
And I just don't remember, are we done collecting it or is there still a little bit left? Do you know?
I think that's the rest of this fiscal year and a little bit.
And then
Yeah.
a little bit
So
for
another
next
few
year.
months worth maybe.
Based on the numbers for 3/31, our estimated revenue for fiscal year 26 is gonna be about 250,000. Fiscal year 27 is gonna be about 125,000.
Okay. So on the tail end for sure. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey, welcome. You need. We literally just started a few minutes ago, Nikki, so everyone was running a little late, so no sweat. Okay, Sherry was just giving us the financial update.
Table.
Let's see. The only other question I had, Sherry, was the miscellaneous fees were 106,000. What typically comprises that category?
That I would have to look into.
Okay,
I don't know that off the top of my head, but I can get that answer for you and let you
Okay.
know.
all right, thank you. Yeah, just curious. Whenever I see something that labeled miscellaneous, that if it's $100,000, it's a big enough number to just ask about.
Sure, typically when you see miscellaneous, it's gonna be a bunch of little things. And it just doesn't make sense to
Right,
list them all out because then you're just taking up more space. So
right.
that's
No,
why
I
they-
totally get it. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm assuming there's probably 3 or 4 items that are most of that.
Exactly.
Yeah, okay. All right. That's it for my questions. Brian, do you have any for Sherry?
I think my only question, and thanks so much for putting it all together and sharing it with us, was that we're 3/4 the way through the year. We're at 59% on staff related expenses, which I think means we're something like 20% under projected budget for staff for this time of the year. And I guess there's 2 parts to the question. One is whether we're going to kind of stay at that 20% under rate, or maybe this was related to not having a general manager for a period. I can't remember if we.
No, I was July 1st. I was.
Okay.
July 1st, right?
Yeah, so I wonder if you might explain that and see, is that indicative of anything moving forward, or was that just a one-time thing?
So there's gonna be a couple things that you'll see in this year, like we were paying a consultant for my position before I started in September, that sort of thing. But the majority of what you're seeing here is the salaries and benefits being transferred over to capital costs because our engineers their time is being charged to those capital projects. So that's what you're seeing here for the majority of it.
Yeah, the shift actually could be more coming up in the near future because we're forming a construction crew and a lot of their time is going to be capital as well.
Isn't that
Very
terrific?
good. That's great. Yeah.
Very appealing. Great. Okay. Thank you. That's all I had in terms of comments. I guess maybe just one other thing, and this isn't really related to this item, but it's sort of related, so I'll just bring it up, which is that it would be interesting at some point to look at multi-year trends, like how have personnel costs or capital costs or revenues of comparable magnitude trended over several years, and what would, how might that inform growth rates or those sorts of things.
We can do that.
That would be interesting. Totally different agenda item, really. But at some point, that might be nice when you have capacity to look at that.
Yeah, sounds good.
Thank you, Brian. Carl,
No questions from on my end.
you good? Okay. I did have one additional question, Sherry. I noticed that the debt principal paid through the end of, I guess, 3/31 was only 51%. And I was kind of thinking it would be 75%, right, for 9 months.
It really just depends on when our that is due. I
Oh,
think
okay.
there's one payment in June that I know of.
Okay.
So
Are
that
they semi-annual? Is that the reason for the,
most of them are.
Yeah.
I know there's one that's only annual.
okay. Okay. Yeah, it just was a little striking, I guess, but, okay. Um, okay. Um, that's, I think, it. Oh, and I noticed the Wells Fargo checking account had about $750,000 in it at 0% interest, but I think you had told the board recently that you've taken some of that money out.
Yeah, so we're trying to keep it anywhere from 2 to 5. Or 200 to 500.
Right. Right.
It really just depends.
Okay.
And if we know that we have a large payment coming up, I won't make a transfer until after that payment has cleared, that sort of thing. So it really just depends on where the end of the month falls.
Yeah.
No, but I don't.
That's great. So we've
We did
got
not.
basically 15 million more or less working for us, which is great.
Yeah.
Okay, super. All right. I guess that's it for questions. Oh, Nikki.
Yeah.
Yes.
I'm good though, actually.
Are you?
Yeah.
You sure?
Yeah.
With all the time on the road, you know,
Ponder the budget.
ponder financials. Okay, all right. Thank you. All right, then I guess we'll move on to the next item.
All right, so the next undertaking that we are going to partake in is updating our procurement policy. It hasn't been updated since 2021. And a procurement policy should typically be updated every 2 to 3 years, just because things change so often in the finance world, regulations and that sort of thing. I don't really know how you want to go about this. I don't think it's wise to sit there and go through every change, but I did provide a summary of the changes that's at the very end of the agenda.
Right, which was very helpful, I might add.
So I thought maybe we could kind of just go through bits and pieces of that, and then we'll see where we're at. One of the things that I did policy-wide was I replaced district manager with general manager, or director of finance to finance manager, the title corrections. And then also there were some federal citations that the heading was incorrect. So I did that throughout the policy. The big changes are increasing the general manager approval to 50,000, and then making the board approval to be over 50,000.
That's from 30.
Yeah. And then raising the PO threshold from 5,000 to 10,000. And same with the blanket and contract POs. And those are just basically because everything's costing more at this point. It's costing a lot of staff time to prepare all of these additional POs when we need to just be doing things. But because of the old policy and it being 5,000, we're having to do a lot more of the purchase orders because things are.
I was curious, do you have a approximate number of POs that you have to do every
I
month?
can get that.
Okay, would you, if you wouldn't mind a swag, do you think it's like 50 or 10 or what's your guess?
Annually, maybe 75 to 100.
Okay.
I don't know how that compares to prior years.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious to try to get a sense of how much overhead and staff time
Sure.
does that take? Okay, thank you. All right, didn't mean to interrupt.
Oh, no, you're
Sorry.
fine.
Yeah.
And then there was just some additions of clarifications. Let's see. I added a section about purchasing cards and online purchasing. that wasn't in the old one. Reclassified the micro purchases and small purchases based on the new thresholds that we have in here. Other than that, I mean, it's kind of all standard. It's best practice according to GFOA, and we utilized some of the surrounding districts purchasing policy or procurement policies, and so we just kind of compared and contrast, and this is what we came up with. I know it's not going to be done tonight by any means. I'm sure we'll bring it back a couple of times and really iron everything out, but I think this is a good starting point.
All right. Yes, thank you for taking a stab at it. Brian, do you have any questions for Cherie?
I have struggled for a while to fully understand the obligations under public works projects with prevailing wage requirements, and appreciated the effort to provide clarity in that section. I'm still not entirely clear, and I guess I expect you guys are, and will be able to navigate this stuff effectively. I guess maybe my question is, did you consult counsel in the development of this language?
I have not.
Yeah. That would be my only suggestion. Then you might consider having someone have a look at this stuff, just because it's hard to interpret and creates vulnerabilities that we've seen where agency partners and nonprofit partners with public funding have kind of gotten dragged across the coals on minor errors in compliance, but nonetheless resulted in expensive and time-consuming procedures.
Sure.
Yeah, so I guess that would be my main suggestion. And then the other, my other comment is in the contracting categories, there's standard project, small project, and micro project. And I think from a marketing perspective, calling it a micro project is not a great word choice.
Okay.
I think at $10,000, that may be micro to some, it's not micro to everybody. And having a different word that suggests non-trivial, because even though you do that type of project or purchase all the time, it would read better if it were something a little different.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Yep.
That's all I got. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Corey, you want to take a crack at anything?
I didn't have any questions looking through it. It mostly looked like a lot of terminology updates and then expense threshold updates, which I think makes sense compared to 2021 versus now, how things are looking. So yeah, I didn't have any questions about that section, procurement.
All right, thank you. And Nikki?
Yep, I agree.
Okay. All right, well, thank you. I did have a few questions. Again, and I guess, again, maybe with the estimate of, you thought 70 to 80 POs of 5,000. I was going to ask you, how many POs at 10 do you think you would end up having to process every year?
A lot less.
A lot less. Oh, thank you. I mean, do you think it's half, or you think it's like?
No, it wouldn't be half.
Okay. Yeah.
If say our POs are at 75 each year, I would say this would put us down to maybe 55 to 60.
Okay. So still 4 or 5 a month, but
Yeah.
that's, I guess, 1 a week is a little more manageable.
Exactly. And
Okay.
I'll have those numbers at the next meeting so that we
Okay.
can really kind of dive into that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I think we're all for efficiency and productivity, and not wanting people to get bogged down and just doing stuff that's not productive, not helpful. Okay, thank you. Okay, yeah, and I had also questions about the prevailing wage stuff. I just find that so confusing. Do you know in general how it works? Is there a state organization or entity that actually determines by county and by work category for each category what the prevailing wage should be? Do you know?
I think it's the state controller's office.
It is the state controller's office.
And
There's
they
a-
go into that kind of detail by county?
Is
for-
it by county or?
By
okay.
county.
By county. So for the hundreds, I'm assuming, of job descriptions, right? Wow. Okay, and it's the law. It has
Oh,
to
you
be,
have to do.
has to be followed. Okay, any public works.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And
Um,
there are always the workarounds, family-owned businesses and things like that.
right.
Mm.
Okay, and I noticed that there were some exemptions for small projects at either 15 or 25,000, depending upon what they were,
Yes,
maintenance or.
there's a threshold you have to meet.
Threshold.
Yeah.
Right, okay. Okay,
Could I ask, while you're talking about?
please, yeah, no, go.
So my understanding is that it's for contract work.
Yes,
And that normal district operations are not included in that?
are you talking about like employees and stuff?
Yep,
Yep. that's
gotcha.
true.
Okay, great, thank you.
But any work that we put out a bid for would be
Right.
included.
Day construction,
Construction, demolition,
demolition,
yeah, okay.
certain consulting, special things.
Okay, oh, that was something that I was just not sure if I was reading it properly. It seemed to. The contractor was also responsible for making sure that they're paying the prevailing wage. And that we have to submit a PWC 100, right, within 5 days of a contract's award. So we choose contractor A, give him this award. But then it said that that I guess the state organization would then get back to us with a response, and that had to be then sent out. I was just a little confused. Let me see if I have that. Um, I'm not finding my notes here. Okay, I'll get back the next time we come around to it.
Okay.
Sorry, my
worries.
notes are confusing. Okay, and then what would be examples of cooperative purchasing and piggybacking? What kinds of things might we do that would be helpful?
Those are typical projects, things that you can basically. You cookie cutter them from one district to another. They're not necessarily. Something that takes a lot of, design and that sort of back end work. It's already done,
Okay,
that sort of thing. I can't think of an example right now. The
Right.
only thing I can think of is playground, because that's my city background. And I'm like, yeah, you take a playground that you really like in this city and you put it in this city. So.
and it also sounded like cooperative purchasing would be like, we would actually buy a piece of equipment with another district and then
Absolutely,
share it or
yeah.
something? Okay,
That's not really typical.
yeah,
It can get convoluted
I'll
when
bet.
you do things like that.
Yeah. Do
So-
you know if we've done any in the past?
I hope not.
What?
I hope not.
Oh, God, okay,
Yeah.
okay, well, I assume you've added it because you saw some potential benefit, so.
It's typical,
Yeah.
to have in there when you're in a district. However, a district our size, we might not need it in there,
Okay,
that probably came from something like looking at Valley Water's purchasing policy,
okay,
but yeah, we can absolutely take out the cooperative if you'd like, just because I don't ever anticipating us do that.
I thought it was an interesting idea and I was just curious, what did you have in mind? That's
Yeah.
all, okay, all right. Okay. Let's see. Regarding employee expense reimbursements, I guess, again, I'm wondering, how many of those do you have to process a month?
I don't know about monthly, those would be like if they bought uniforms or
Okay,
shoes,
shoes, right, I forgot
that
about
sort of
that.
thing,
Right,
yeah.
right,
So it really just depends. There's not ever really gonna be a set amount each month because if somebody needs shoes, they need shoes, you know?
right. Well, we even have allocations, right? Allotments for everybody.
Exactly,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. So that's part of the benefits.
right.
Um, okay. Yeah, because I just wasn't, because maybe I misunderstood it, but it seemed like these purchasing cards, which I honestly had never heard of before, they're different from a credit card? Are they like preloaded or something?
No,
Or
they're the same as a credit card.
are they?
However, we control the amounts. So, say, uh, Jason wanted his limit to be 5,000, but mine to only be 1,000. That's something that we can control on the back end.
Mhm.
We can also set, daily limits, monthly limits, however we want to do that, just to make sure that we control the spending.
Right.
And then as far as it goes into detail in the policy about, people would have to then hold on to their receipts, make sure that it's given to accounts payable so that we can make sure to pay that off each month. It's not something that we would ever, we're not allowed to have it roll over and then
Good.
we would have interest charged
Right.
like a credit card.
Right.
That's something that's different as well.
Okay. Yeah, because I just wasn't sure. So I guess credit cards have been issued by the district before to, I'm assuming, like department heads or something like that.
Yes.
Okay, so that's not a change. And I didn't see any limits for people, so I guess that would just be a question. Maybe you could propose limits, for department heads, for the general manager, that kind of thing.
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, just so that eventually the board will say, okay, these seem reasonable, and there's enough controls there that we don't have to worry about something slipping through the cracks.
Sure.
Um, okay. Oh, on the procurement methods, page 24, where you go into the micro purchases, maybe change that name and some of these other, does that warrant integrating Jason's and I guess this hasn't come up officially, Jason, the contract award language that he has been working on for a different weighted average, for instance, what do you call that? The award contracting policy?
PBS method, where basically yeah.
Yeah, I forget because this document talks a little bit about um, an award process, and I just wonder maybe you need to integrate the two,
Sure.
and that way there's one place that has both, and then they're consistent. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, here's this PWC 100. We have to send it to the Department of Industrial Relations within 5 days of our award to a contractor. And then we send it to contractors for their compliance. So is that just to the contractor that was awarded? Is that what that means?
Yes.
Oh, okay. I got it. All right. And then contracts that use federal funding, is that FEMA? Or what would that be?
Contract that use federal funding could be FEMA, but it's just saying that they're not under prevailing wages, they're under Davis-Bacon, I think it's called.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Which is, okay,
Prevailing wages federally.
gotcha.
Mhm.
And is that done by county or by state or who knows, right?
So the federal is done by state.
By state.
And then each state has their own regulations that typically exceed the federal.
Right. Not
rules and
surprising.
regulations.
Right.
So that's where we get our.
So if we got federal funding like FEMA, does that mean we're not bound by California's prevailing wage rules, but we are bound by the Davis-Bacon federal rules?
If
Because
it's
the-
strictly, if it was strictly FEMA, probably, yeah.
Okay. But if Cal OES also contributed money,
Then we're,
then we're bound by that as well. Okay. Got it. All right. Wow. Okay. 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 And do you have a formal contract administration process where, and I don't know what I'm even asking, like a record or a database of, contracts that, the bids, who got the award, how we document it, track it, pay it. Is that part of the accounts payable package, or is there something even broader than that that you have or that you use?
We have an SOP for it. I don't know if we have a policy per se, but basically in finance, we keep only the final one. So we'll keep the RFP, and then we'll keep who it was awarded to. And then the department themselves, they keep all of that other additional information, because we do have to keep it for, I don't remember the retention for it,
Right.
but yeah, we
Right,
do
the
have to
retention.
keep all of that.
Yeah, including all the other bidders have that in case someone questions our decision.
Right.
Okay, very good. Okay. Okay, that's it for my questions. Any other director questions or
I actually had,
committee members?
do
Yeah,
have a question.
please.
So I'm just curious, I mean, the procurement limit you raised from 5 to 10,000 and then from 20 to, or 30 to 50 for different type of invoices. That's that's almost double. And I'm wondering, and I understand the reasoning for it, but is there any sort of process for vetting the invoices? In other words, how do you know they're not getting, maybe I'm just being a pessimist here, but getting padded. If I were a contractor and I knew you raised my limit, you doubled it, I might think, okay, I could bill a little bit more for this job because it doesn't have to go in front of the board. So I'm just curious. about the process.
So the smaller ones that wouldn't have to go to the board, they would obviously need Jason's approval. They would also have to go through the department head, so engineering contracts, they would go through Garrett, and he would be able to look through it. I could look through an engineering contract and I wouldn't know what I'm looking at, I don't know what a good rate for anything is. But Garrett is our expert in that, and then also we have Jason to give a second set of eyes. So we would have that.
checks and
Word.
balances.
Okay. And how do you know that the contractors are then paying the equitable wages to their staff?
They have to file their wages for each job. They have
Right.
to actually send that off to the state controller's office and have it reviewed.
Okay,
So-
like proof of that they paid or, okay, all right, that's reasonable.
Don't we also use certified payroll?
Yeah, that's what they have to send off, certified payroll.
Okay,
Good.
all right, that's good. That was
Um,
my main
Oh,
question.
thank you, Nikki. Actually, that triggers a question for me as well. Is what's being proposed that every department head will have the authority to give a $10,000 contract? I mean, sign a $10,000 contract or less? Is that what I'm reading?
So I didn't delineate an actual department head amount,
Okay.
because typically that's left for the general manager's discretion.
Okay. Yeah.
That's something I can do.
Well, I'm asking because I was a little bit confused about, well, who has the the new $10,000 ceiling
Right.
limit? Is that Jason or is it, well, Jason's now would be presumably 50.
Right.
So who's got 10? Is it
Right.
I don't-
you or who?
I don't think it was for contracts necessarily, it was that PO threshold,
Mhm.
and basically was if, for example, Jesse had to order chemical. And what used to be $3,000 is now $6,000. You have to go through the whole PO process to get it,
Got it.
something that he didn't have to do before. That's the reason for that raise. It's not,
Okay.
it really has nothing to do with any contracts.
Got
Got
it. Oh, I
it.
see, I
Okay.
see. Supplies.
It's just supplies.
Okay, yeah, so chemicals, that certainly
Okay,
makes sense.
that's easier to
Because
understand.
10,000 is a pretty big number and,
It used to be.
I think it depends on what you're buying.
yeah.
Like, well, we do
Yeah.
40,000 POs and
Yeah.
yeah, stuff's real expensive. I can see 5,000, you'd have to issue a lot of POs if it was any big item. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, so if you did 50 POs of 10,000, that would be, I guess, $500,000 a year. Right, so it wouldn't be that big, but maybe 300,000 or 400,000 in total. Does that jive with kind of what you would guess that kind of stuff would add up to?
No, because some of our POs are, 1 point something million based on the project that we're doing.
Okay, right,
So-
that's true, right. Yeah, 10 POs are really big and then
Yeah,
30 or 40
exactly.
are pretty small. Okay, I got it. Okay. Yeah, so you're saying, so the PO threshold for 10,000, right now, I guess that's still on Jason's, that would be his authorization, just, hey, we need to get this done. Okay. So if, and there's no policy or projected policy for department heads and what they can and can't do, or?
Not that I know of.
All right,
Like I said, there's an SOP. I don't know if it's been a board approved policy.
okay. Well, maybe think about it,
Sure.
because, it certainly sounds like it's reasonable whether certain individuals who routinely do those kinds of purchases get that authority, or everybody. I'll leave that up to you. Yeah. Okay. That's it, I think, for any other committee questions? No, and no one online. Okay. All right. Let's move on, and this is just the debt financing, from literally 2 months ago. And so it's probably way outdated. And I guess the question is, Carl and Nikki, if I don't want to waste everybody's time going over sort of what the thought process was.
Mhm.
If you're interested, we can do that. We can also just have a phone call, and so it doesn't have to be a big deal here. So I'll ask both of you, what would you like to do? Perfectly happy to adjourn early too, but I wanted to give the opportunity because you have to publish it publicly, right, 3 days in advance. And so if there was some discussion or public, public members wanted to comment, then we would at least give that opportunity. So what would you like to do, Nikki?
I mean, we can talk about it now, we can talk about it later. I'm really open to whatever works for y'all.
Okay.
Let's see.
Yeah, I don't think I had any questions about the debt financing. If it's just the same discussion
the
that was
same.
happening
That we
over
had
the last,
before.
2 months. Yeah, I
Okay.
didn't have any issues or questions about that. Yeah.
I
Okay.
asked a lot of questions the first time around.
Yeah,
think I'm
no,
good.
that's
Yeah.
right. Yeah. And
Okay.
and I remember trying to get it scheduled for the next month budget meeting, and I was gone and Brian had to chair that. So I pulled it because I wasn't going to be
Okay.
available. So I just wanted to have the opportunity, but
But now it's going to the board for approval, right? Like, any.
That
the
was
board
already
did
approved.
approve it.
Oh, they already did
They
approve it.
did.
That's what I thought. I thought they
We're
approved
good.
it
It's
in
in the
April.
bank.
Yeah, I thought
Right.
in April.
Is it
they
in the
said-
bank? No, is it? Has it actually arrived?
May 7th, right? Or,
Oh,
It's in US Bank. It's not in our bank.
okay.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, that's what I thought. I thought it was already in April that they had that done.
Yeah.
So, cool. Yeah,
Right.
good.
But certainly part of the process is the mindset of just as we move forward is determining how much can we self-fund,
Right.
which saves us half of the cost over the long run, for instead of debt financing.
Mhm.
And then we probably do periodically have to go to the trough and do more debt financing every 3 to 5 years. So it's like the mentality that we get into.
Okay.
Okay. Well, in that case, Brian, I'm assuming you're you're okay with,
I'm just fine with it.
okay.
You know, every time I see $500 million worth of stuff,
Yeah,
it's kind of breathtaking.
exactly.
But I
That
guess,
is
And
breathtaking.
you add the word debt to it and financing on top of that.
right. The only consolation being 100 years. So thank goodness for that.
100
Thank
years,
goodness.
right?
So,
Right,
Not be
right,
here.
right.
Might
Okay,
be.
well,
Never know.
that's great. Appreciate everyone coming in and, I guess I'll move to, well,
Did you-
like to
yeah.
adjourn. Huh?
Number 7.
Oh, thank you. All right, what did I forget?
Committee comments.
Oh, community comments. Thank you. I always forget that. Any,
Fine.
anyone online?
No.
Thank you. No community comments, and so I think we can wrap it up. Give me permission, Leah. I want to make sure I'm on track here. Okay, thank you. All right.
could I just say one thing, not to plague or anything?
Yeah,
But so I think the last time I came to a meeting, there was a pipe break in my driveway that had just happened. And there's a big, I live off of Farmer Street, and there's a big tank up on Ashley, I think, and a main runs down past my house. And I got a text as I was walking in the door that there was water bubbling up through the asphalt. And anyway, the water was bubbling up through the asphalt. The neighbor called SLV Water. Within 20 minutes, a crew arrived. Within 2 hours, they'd cut the pavement, dug the leak, patched the leak, filled the hole, patched the pavement
wow.
Nice.
Before you even got back.
before I even got back. And I got home and my wife had like collected jugs of water that were all over the counters and the tables and everything, anticipating we'd be out of water for a while. We never, you know, I think the water was off for 20 minutes or something. So we had lots of plant watering to do. And within 48 hours, the asphalt patch was pulled and hot asphalt was put down, making an awesome repair. And
Wow.
no one ever, I think, had a clue it was our place. So I don't think that had anything to do with it.
Your neighbor didn't say, hey, in front of Director Largate's
Right,
house.
right. So anyway, kudos to the team. Very,
Yeah,
very cool.
impressive.
They're the best in the business.
Yeah. that's
Very
nice.
cool. Thank you for the
Awesome.
story.
All right.
All right, thanks, everyone.
Thank you.
Have a good evening.
Thank you, Brendan.